and Morrison, driver of the number 74 Blue Devil Products Chevrolet. I'm thrilled to be here, thrilled to be a part of this program. I'm here to talk about racing, oval track racing, some of my experiences in racing, and 5 lessons that I've learned along the way. I also want to talk about dreams and making them happen. For me, the dream was racing cars. I always wanted to race cars. From my earliest memories of playing with my Matchbox cars to my dad letting me drive his Plymouth Fury, to playing the video game Rush, where I drive through the streets of San Francisco. But most drivers are born into this racing culture. They grow up around it and either gravitate towards it or not. But not me. I was nowhere near it, or so I thought. Late one night here at the college, I was talking to my favorite public safety guy, Officer McLaughlin, in front of the Wentworth dorm about racing. He told me about a racetrack just up the road in Somerville, and that wasn't far away at all. Lesson 1, you can't be afraid to dream, and more importantly, act on your dream. You can learn a lot from the journey regardless of the outcome. So when I graduated from the College of Charleston in 1998, I checked out the Somerville track that McLaughlin told me about. I spoke with the track owner and asked if there was anything I could do to help. Got my foot in the door, hustling marketing and PR, renewing track sponsors, promoting races, track events. But within a few months, it was time to cut to the chase. So I bought a 1976 Chevy Nova from my Folly Beach roommate and fellow CFC alumnus Jeff Black Dog Miller. We don't call him Jeff, he's Black Dog, but now he's at Husk, so you gotta call him Jeff. I bought that car from Black Dog and competed in the Thunder and Lightning division. At that point, I didn't know anything about racing, mechanics, chassis setup, sponsorship, nothing. I thought that because I now owned a real race car, all I had to do was mash the gas and I would win. However, it could not have been further from the truth. I had heard of a great instructor named Pete Danbaugh at the automotive department at the Trident Technical College. So I called him one day, but after hearing about the program length and time it would take, I did not pursue it. I did not have the patience. Lesson 2, be patient and surround yourself with a good team. It was several months later when at the track infield I was having some ignition timing issues. So again I called Pete Danbaugh. He asked me, what's the vacuum gauge reading? What's the ignition timing say? I told him I didn't know what he was talking about. He said, buddy boy, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're in for one miserable season. And he couldn't have been more right. Lesson 3, don't get ahead of yourself. Know when to slow down. Sometimes you need to step back to move forward. After several miserable seasons in the Thunder and Lightning division, I enrolled in night school at the Trident Tech. In all of my years of education, I've never had so much fun, never valued the information I was learning more than in those Pete Danbaugh classes. I soon learned that Pete was a legend in the regional racing world, and I continue to rely on him for mechanic issues to this day. He eventually let me bring in my race car for the whole class to work on as a project. We assembled the motor one semester and the rear end and transmission the next. So by 2004, my first full season of racing under Pete's guidance, after several wins and a handful of top 5s, I won my division, the Thunder and Lightning champion of the Somerville Speedway. It was the best feeling ever. So what's next? Go faster, move up, right? After winning that division title, I was anxious for the big time, so I bought a super truck and an enclosed race hauler for it. The price seemed reasonable, but I had no idea what the mission would cost. I had some fun, but really it was more frustrating than anything else. Most of the teams had 3 to 6 guys helping them. For me, I was it. I sometimes barely made it from the infield to the track to drive, waiting in line for tires. Other teams had helpers for all that. I'd occasionally break into the top 15 and oftentimes get lapped by the leaders. So when that engine blew after a few years, something had to give. Lesson 4, be flexible. You have to recognize that you might not get it right the first few times, but you have to make adjustments along the way. Whether that means going back to the classroom, putting together a new team, or rethinking your goals, you have to be willing to adjust. My issue at this point was that I could no longer afford the sport. It was time to do some more learning. This time I needed to learn how to afford my dream. I had to learn the ropes in sports marketing, and I enjoyed learning how to market my racing as a legitimate advertising medium. It's not easy. I read books, took webinars, drafted proposals, made the calls, set up the meetings. A potential sponsor could care less how much it cost me to go racing. So that's never a good place to start. It takes listening and learning the marketing goals of the sponsor company and adopting a plan to help them meet their goals. It's also leveraging business relationships with a smile. This year is my first full season in the area's truck series. I have a primary sponsor on board for the entire season. We had our best finish at third place a couple weeks back. Lesson 5, you don't have to hit it out of the park as long as you're enjoying the ride. So yes, I'm living my dream. I race 10 to 12 Saturdays each year during the season. It's been a long road, I've put in a lot of work, but I'm still enjoying the journey. I've been very, very lucky. So friends, today I challenge you to go for your dreams. I invite you all to win your race, to live your dream. And good luck. Thank you very much.